Hello, welcome to the Conservation Advisory Council, Town of Shandaken, September meeting. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So for anyone watching who was here last month and is expecting to see a meeting about disaster preparedness, we had to postpone that until October because Maya Lilly, who was setting it up, couldn't be here tonight. So tune in on the third Monday of October, that's October 21st at 6:30, and that will be the subject of our meeting on that occasion. So let's start with the roll call.
Oh, okay. Thought we were gonna skip that one. Beth Waterman, Robert Cruikshank.
Here.
Okay.
Karen Lee.
I thought Karen was saying something. Karen Lee, Angel Molina, both by Zoom, and Catherine Del Tufo.
Yeah. All right, did everyone get a copy of the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, membership items, correspondence and announcements. Karen and I attended the Ulster County Roundtable meeting at the end of August last. And that meeting was,
Yeah, so I'm fine with Friday, I just think we're gonna be uncomfortable to be present.
I guess, Angel, that someone's speaking in the background. Yeah, thank you. The meeting was held at the rec center in Rosendale, and the county talked about what they were working on and did a little opening exercise that we all participated in, and then all the EMCs or CACs or whatever, because there's so many different types of environmental committees, gave a report on what they were doing in their own towns. So the entire list of towns from the town of Denning, who sent their own representative, to the town of Woodstock presented. Do you have anything you want to say about that meeting, Karen?
Just that I thought it was really informative to see and hear from other towns and where they are and what their goals and some of their challenges are. And I thought that was, in a way, reassuring that, you know, we're all working, but we all have our individual challenges and also goals. And I think just connecting with people to continue the conversation and just keep the momentum and enthusiasm.
Yeah, thank you. I thought it was an excellent, opportunity to network with other towns, and really, I was so impressed with Woodstock. I mean, for all the infighting and so forth that goes on in Woodstock, they have really done well with their climate smart community status and their clean energy community. I was very impressed, and they're the only one that's completed a community climate action plan. So we'll talk more about that later. Also, Karen and I met on Zoom with Elka and Kate from Pattern for Progress to talk about the comprehensive plan. And we talked about the sustainability elements that are required for climate smart communities. And we also attended a meeting at PH2 at the Pine Hill Community Center last week on Tuesday, where Kate and Elka were present and took more community input. So this is an ongoing process with the comprehensive plan, and Karen has a meeting tonight. Is it also with them?
I'm not sure who's attending. I know Mary organized it. I'm not sure if it's
Okay.
one of their general meetings.
Yeah.
That's
All
at
right.
7 o'clock.
Do you have anything you want to add to the?
To the comprehensive.
Yeah.
our individual meeting that Beth and I attended with Elka, I thought it helped. It was good to start to think about, you know, ways that we can set Shandaken apart and make it shine, so that we can help attract additional funding dollars to help us with our efforts. The one thing that I thought was interesting that I didn't understand, and she was saying, that was my point. I can't think of it, but I'll think of it. That we can get credit for something that we're doing that I didn't realize, and I missed that in the meeting, and I wanted to clarify with you, but.
Okay, well, we'll
I'll have to
follow
find
up.
it out, and I'll follow up with that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I thought it was a really good first start for us.
Yeah, I did too. I'm gonna skip over NYSERDA for the time being and just go through the rest of the agenda. The recycling center, James Amenta, the farmer who's composting, reports that the town is generating 100 gallons of food waste a week. That's between the facility here and his pickup, his drop-off pickup at the farmer's market. And 100 gallons of food waste breaks down to 10 pounds of compost. So anyway, it's just a really successful program. And I'd like to give a shout out to Joe Rotella, who manages the town recycling facility, and thank him for his assistance with our program. He does a good job. And James was also able to use the hose, which is apparently locked up in the dog park, but someone was in there cleaning the dog park or facility, and he was able to hose out the inside of the container and clean it out. So that was good. So he's doing a wonderful job. I'd like to thank both James and Joe. The Community Climate Action Plan. We had our workshop meeting at the beginning of September. And we had a very good strategy session talking about transportation initiatives. And we will continue working on this. I had a 2-hour Zoom with Eleanor Peck and Catherine was part of it also. And MJ showed up for a little bit. It was part of the Hudson Valley Regional Council. And it was a Zoom that all the people in the Hudson Valley attended. There were so many participants. And they all talked a little bit about what they were doing, or several people talked about what they were doing. And I'm happy to report that we are not alone in just kind of beginning to get our feet wet. A lot of other towns are in the same situation and working on it, you know, kind of in the same way we are.
Yeah, there's so many different levels of reaching goals with all of the different groups, and it was very nice to see all of them. Or hear from all of them and see them.
Yes, it was. And I took a lot of notes at that meeting because I really listened to what Ken Panza from Woodstock had to say. And he talked about taking a streamlined approach and, you know.
Forgetting about, like, just let's forget about having to even deal with this, like the
Yeah.
throughway or.
No, it was about solar.
Oh, it was another town going through.
Yeah.
Solar.
Anyway, I can give you this in greater, I should probably write up a little report.
No, but we can forward the whole,
Yeah, we can
meeting
forward the recording, but
anyone
it's
wants.
a 2-hour Zoom, it's a lot
or
of.
more. I think I ducked out at 2 hours.
I could write up maybe a little summary, because I think there was definitely a desire to focus and to try to streamline the planning in such a way that it would narrow the focus a little bit. So what Woodstock did was they called for a 30% reduction in greenhouse gases by 2030. That's not quite the state goal. The state goal is 40% by 2030. We know they're not going to meet that goal. And I think with the government operations climate action plan, this, for the town, the municipality, it might be possible to reach the 40% by 2030. But for the community, when you have to figure in Bel Air and, you know, and the throughway and all this stuff, it's probably a little more conservative. But I'll try to summarize. I have notes, but they're a little chaotic. I can't even really. There was such a lot of discussion about the upstate grid being cleaner than the Westchester and New York City grid, and therefore solar in upstate is less important than it is downstate. So Woodstock didn't even include any recommendations for solar in its community action plan.
Wow.
So, anyway, I'll develop a summary so we can review that before our next workshop. And I don't think we'll have a workshop until after our next meeting in October, because we have to review the Zooms again, you know, the next two Zooms. So that's about all I have to report about that meeting. She mentioned that there was community climate action plan resources on the HVCC website.
HVCC or HVRC?
HVRC, sorry, HVRC, Hudson Valley Regional Council, yes. And I haven't looked that up, but I'll,
Well, do you know that the HVRC received $3 million from the EPA today?
no,
Woodstock's getting some of it.
what is it?
It's funds for reducing methane emissions from landfills, pollinator pathway creations, solar installation. It's a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And it's a lot of towns. It's not just Woodstock. It's a lot of Hudson Valley towns and
I'll have to find the press release.
yeah, if you just I just refreshed my memory, and it's, if you go to the HBRC and look up news, there's several articles about it.
Oh, great, thank you. Okay,
Good for them, and it will hopefully bleed off and be good for us too.
it's all good.
It is all good. It's definitely a positive thing.
And that brings me to the NYSERDA community campaigns. Today, I had a meeting with Mina, who's our new representative who replaced Melanie. And Mina and I went over the Tier 2 certification forms for electric vehicles and for clean energy and heating. And we have reached the threshold for those two to apply for the funding. So I submitted those certifications this morning.
Great.
And so we will receive $10,000 for, forget which is which now, but we will receive $1,750. Wait, I have it all written
Yeah,
down.
10,000 is for the heat pumps.
Okay, 10,000 for the heat pumps? What?
You told me 67,000.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
We get 10,000 for the heat pumps and 7,500 for the electric vehicles. So, the Clean Energy Community Campaign has another reward if you get to 3,000 points. And we had 2,400 points before this morning. And now we have more than 3,000 points.
Wow.
So, when you reach the threshold of 3,000, we are eligible for $50,000. So that means that we will be getting $67,500 for the town to invest in clean energy.
That's tremendous.
So that is a
That's
real
something.
cause for celebration, yes.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a big something.
Yeah, and that's in addition to the 30,000 we have already received. So the CAC this year has pulled in
87?
67 and 30,
97.
97, wow.
97.5.
Wow.
Who would ever have thought? So I invited Bruce to come to the meeting tonight because his leadership with the EVs and his leadership on the expo that we did with the town of Olive were so important.
So well done, yeah.
And the
Phoenicia
Expo-
Playhouse, too.
The expo that we did at the town of Olive was the kind of public outreach that we needed to get to Tier 2. We couldn't have submitted it without that. So I really am grateful to the town of Olive for helping organize it and for
Well,
Bruce.
they get credit for it as well, too, because they
Of course they do,
participated, yes.
yeah. It's not just us.
Good.
But it was the validation, you know, that the municipal, you have to show evidence of municipal support.
Yep.
And that was our evidence of municipal support.
Yep.
And the other aspect of this that is fortuitous is that, as you may all remember, we got an email some time ago about the fact that the grant that provides this funding
Yep.
expires, and starting October 1st, 2024, the amount is reduced.
Ooh, so it's good we
So
got
we
it.
just got in
Under the
under the
line.
line for this $50,000.
Mm.
If we'd waited till after October 1st, it would have only been $40,000 still. So that's my good news for today.
It's very good news.
Yeah,
That's great.
Fabulous.
yeah. I think it's possible that we could get to level 3 on the heat pumps, because we only need 15 more.
Right.
And I reached out to the town, to 3 installers, and I only heard back from 1 installer. But I think if I keep digging with these other sources, that I will be able to get to 15. Yes, Angel?
I owe you 3, but I may be able to find some more, so I'll work on it.
Okay.
And Beth, I sent you the name of a
Yes.
contractor. I don't know if you know him or have been in
No.
contact with him.
No, I
But
haven't.
If not, I can follow up, and the fellow I was talking to said he put in 1, his neighbor put in 6 or 5, so for a total of 6, so I'll
Yeah, definitely.
follow up on that.
That adds up.
Definitely. Well, the information we need is the name of the installer, the date of the installation,
Okay.
and whether it's air source, ground source, or hot water heat pump.
And zip
Okay.
code.
And zip code. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, these are Shandaken. What was the other one? Hot water?
Heat
Ground-
pump.
And ground source, air sourced, ground source, or hot water source.
Hot water heat pump.
Okay.
HTHP.
Okay, I'll follow up on that.
Okay.
Are people just not getting building permits?
I don't know, Catherine.
Because I had to get a building permit. And
Well,
and-
it has something to do with being in the floodplain. I honestly do not understand when it's required. I haven't looked into that myself.
But I mean,
And-
I thought that would be like the #1 place for getting the information, because if everyone had to get a
It
building
is a
permit.
good place for information, but I don't think that everyone,
Gets a
is-
building permit, yeah.
well, you don't need a building permit to.
I needed one.
Oh, is it a building permit or some other kind? I guess it's a building permit. And then you have to have a yeah. Okay,
It-
But-
People can go under, do things without.
I don't know that they're cutting corners for a fact. I'm not sure who's required and who isn't. So I mean, you know, we're not a regulatory body here, so
They
I'm
used
not,
to say there's no law west of Boyceville.
no, I don't like that. There is law west of
I know
Boyceville.
there is.
But, I just think, you know, we ask the installers, who's installed them, that's all the information we need.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, I might call the building department and see if they have a whole list of.
Well, I've
people that
called
have
them and we've
Oh, you
worked
have?
with them.
We
Okay.
processed
And,
it.
and I contacted them
3.
this time, and we do have information from them that was useful
Yeah, the
in this
first,
submission, but they didn't get back to me on my most recent request
Okay.
because they were too busy, they'd been away or something.
Okay.
And not only do you get the building permit, then you have to get the certificate of completion. So So we have some that have building permits, but they don't have the certificate of completion. So it's a two-step process with the
Understood.
department. So I believe that that is all I had to talk about. But
I've got a couple of updates as
Rob.
well.
Great.
So from our last workshop, we had a conversation, several Conservation Advisory Council members had contacted community solar companies.
Yeah.
And the common theme, hearing back from the companies, was they're unable to take new signups. So our residents, when calling one of these companies, the companies will say, we can't take you, because they don't have a sufficient number of projects for community solar. So there's really none to give you when you call up. So this prompted me, we talked about it a little bit in the meeting, and this prompted me to go back to the group for the Renewable Energy Integration Plan at the county level. And one of the tools they have is called a solar mapping tool. And I started getting the training materials on that tool and started to train myself. It looks very useful. And it allows one to, kind of look at the township and look at areas that are designated for activities that would not be conducive to solar and other areas that might be conducive to solar. So it helps sort of weed through the opportunities. There's a training session coming up in November, which I'll attend. And I'll send it around in case anybody else wants to attend as well. And we can look to see, are there opportunities in Shandaken that would be helpful for us to look at?
That's great. Thank you.
Like it says, it's really a mapping tool. As most modern maps, you can put on the highways, you can put on the waterways, and these are all called layers,
Yeah.
right? And then you can look to see which buildings have more than 10,000 square foot of roofing that could then take solar panels and things like that. So I think it's going to be useful, and I'll keep you posted as we progress with that.
Thank you.
Yes. The other thing that came up at the workshop, we were doing some forward-looking work, and I know we haven't really talked about it yet, but one of the things that came up was, would electric school buses be on the horizon anytime soon?
Yep.
And I happened to have a conversation with one of the drivers, and so I just got some anecdotal information. I used the opportunity to get that. And evidently, they had done some preliminary testing, and they had some, not range problems, but power problems, driving up
Yeah.
steep hills and things like that. So that's kind of as much as I know about that, and
Okay.
we'll keep our ear to the ground. So kind of switching gears to the, I mentioned the Renewable Energy Integration Plan at the county level. I circulated to our group a Colster County plan has been given to the legislator. I was part of the working group to develop that plan. We're in the comment period now. And there will be a formal presentation for folks that are interested of it. That's getting scheduled, and I will circulate that around so
Great.
folks can attend to it. And as you said before, it's not clear that we're going to make some of these carbon goals. It's also not clear that we're at risk of not achieving the 70% renewable energy by 2030, either. So people are starting to get the wake-up call that these goals were good, but here, we're still 7 years away, and so, or 5, 6 years away, and it's like, gee, we're not going to make it. So, it pushes us to push ahead.
Good.
The last thing I would share is that my own heat pump and solar system is coming up on a 1-year anniversary. So if we're able to I'm able to go back and look and see, well, did we actually size it right? Did we put up enough panels to cover the heat? And as we go through this winter, that's going to become clearer.
Okay.
So fingers crossed on that. And I think that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? No?
I know I put up on Slack that the next hazardous collection day is in Kingston at the Ulster County Resource Recovery Center on October 20th, but you need to register on their website. And they also list whatever you can bring to a hazardous waste collection day or what you can't.
Good. We should print a copy of that and put it in our little.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can you send it to Joyce?
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll print it. Okay. Well, I think with that,
Record time.
record time, and I brought some cake for us to have in
Wonderful.
celebration of our
And I
sort
made-
of goals.
I made some sun tea.
And Catherine brought some tea, so If we could have a motion to adjourn, we'll adjourn
Motion
to
to
cake and
adjourn.
tea. I second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.